Off. Yes, indeed, and I'm very much looking forward to it. This was inspired by the fast that you are currently undertaking, but I think that we will probably delve into some other issues in a more traditional, off the cuff kind of way. Uh, Very much so. So let's get this started the traditional off the cuff way. And what was the first video game you played, Rick? And Diablo came out in what? 97. Can you remember some of the games you played before that? Okay. Was there any Mario Kart in the family? Yeah, because that was pretty iconic, and that was before '97, I believe. But why was Diablo such a paradigm change for you? Okay, no, that's so interesting, but it's kind of a marked departure because I presume you were playing Diablo alone rather than with your brother. Like, are you talking about Dalnet and stuff like that, or? Oh, Yahoo chat rooms, and people would do full on DM runs. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, where were you living at this point in time? Okay, so that would have been Michigan, one of the many stops upon your journey. So you end up finding Diablo via this friend Drew of yours, and I think this probably ties into a bunch of other things, but let's not get into it now. But just out of curiosity, does this tie into Galil at all? Yes, but was the Galil paradigm a result of the D&D that came before Diablo, or did Diablo or did Diablo kind of give it a new and more vivid form of life? Okay. Because I don't have this type of like fantasy world that you do, but I do remember, I was a D&D player too. I was playing Diablo as well. I did play some RPGs before that. But I remember, just sitting around trying to draw out like a map of an entire world with all of the buildings that would be in it. I would like have a ruler and draw a tavern or an inn with all the seats. Is that kind of the thing you were doing before Galil originated, or something that you kind of started after? Mm-hmm. I kind of love that. Yeah, I love that. And you know, Galil is a complex world, and we're going to talk about that a bit later. But let's go back even further. Then, what is it that got you into D&D? Yep. And there's a dice roll for that, right? I remember when I was playing D&D and you know, quite young, that there was a lot of this type of fuckery. Like like I'm yeah. And life imitates art. So it is so this is actually a question that just popped into my mind. Is D&D art, or is D&D a medium for producing art, or neither? Both. Would you care to expatiate on that? Mhm. Yeah, that makes yeah. That's actually a really interesting. And that's actually a really interesting way of putting it that I had never actually thought about. Because yeah, it is collaborative art. Because I mean, whether people are working together or whether people are working against each other, the output is a creative product, I guess, that's like kind of the result of a hive mind of some sort, right? Yes. And would you say that the individual versus society is also a critical theme there? Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have to be high art. No, So in that respect, were you frequently the DM? Yeah, no, I hear you. Is Ben one of those really good DMs? That is shocking to me. Oh, wow. So he doesn't want to build the narrative of a world, and you do. Is kind of the okay. He wants to build elements of a magnificent world, and okay. Yeah, I can imagine. Can it be weird to have a player in your session who perhaps knows more than you about the rule? Okay. How so? Oh, okay, yeah. Yes. I vaguely remember. I kind of love that way of looking at it. But so how soon after you started playing did you start DMing about? You couldn't. I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to suck, right? At the beginning? Yeah. Mhm. As it is with life. That is true because in a way it's a service, but in a way, do you think that wanting to DM is wanting to control or not? Because I've often wondered that. Like because I wanted to DM as soon as and part of that was getting my world out, but part of it was also like I felt like some of the people I was playing with were absolute fucking idiots. Very much so. It does not mean it is good for you, basically, right? Mhm. Okay. I I no, but this is a campaign you've run in real life or that's going into the game? Oh. I think it would be really interesting to get myself, Ben, maybe Steven, a few other people, and have you run that campaign as maybe like a weekly or whatever session, because since we want the world, and we'll be getting into this later, to get to know Galil, I think it would be really cool for a certain demographic, us, and perhaps a bit selfishly, to do that. Is that something you'd be open to doing, or hey? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're talking about Pathfinder right now, right? So, I think parts of our audience might not know what Pathfinder is. So why don't you kind of get into what Pathfinder is and what brought you from D&D to Pathfinder in terms of with an emphasis on the taint, right? I used to love those so much. I loved it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like that medieval high fantasy kind of baseline, right? Well, the one I was really oh, okay. I kind of like that view. Okay. Now I'm waiting for you to get to like the Joker here. Do we get there? Ah, there we go. And was this? You go ahead. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yes. So so Pathfinder came about, and from what I remember, like there were all these like kind of open source RPGs that were kind of like shared in the back of, I don't know if it was Dragon or Dungeon back in the day, and to a certain extent, Pathfinder was an amalgamation of a lot of this production, right? Mm-hmm. I had I had so few of them as a kid because they were so expensive relative to my income as a child that I think I had probably read through them cover to cover more than once, which is kind of crazy, I guess. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And this is when you were living in Colorado, right? And from that, I'm extrapolating that Ben would drive the truck and you would read all day. Oh, okay, fair enough. So you'd go out someone else. Oh, got you, got you. Oh, okay, okay. And I want to get to your world travels in a bit, but I just want to stick here for a sec. So what? So your trajectory, as I know you, and I might be missing something. is from D&D to Diablo to Magic to Splinterland. Is that correct? Or okay, what would you add in there? Okay, like the complex, deep one. So it's not. Mhm. That makes sense. When you were doing all this, was there any Ultima in that? That's interesting because for me, like Ultima is probably the goat of RPGs. For some reason, but I mean that's so subjective, right? Like, but for you, I mean, the answer is Diablo, right? Okay. What are some of the other ones that came like second, like in terms of specific editions and all that? Yeah. I mean, I think that game can literally, for most people, it's almost impossible to play it and it not become an addiction. Yeah. But I know that you're not being malicious in doing that. I sometimes I wonder. Yeah, I agree. Knowing you, but do you think that to like Blizzard to a certain extent, and I'm not trying to be conspiratorial here, like actually worked with psychologists perhaps to make it as addictive as possible? Because that game is like crack for MMORPG people. People have trouble shaking it off from conversation, like private conversations I've had with people. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that a lot of games do this, and I don't think it's conspiratorial to think that. It, Mhm. I mean, it's done in television, it's done in pretty much in advertising, pretty much every segment, which is one of the reasons why it makes me think that it kind of has to be happening. Um, yeah, but to an extent that's neither here nor there. Um, but the next big thing, as far as I know, in your life was Magic the Gathering, right? How did that come? Oh, wait, you do you still have your original beta deck? Yep. Oh wow. Okay. Damn. That's intense. Uh, did you keep those purposely, or did they just kind of randomly stick around? Oh, okay, okay. So you got them okay after the fact. So I didn't realize you were okay. Do you tend to think the reprints are a good thing or a bad thing? Okay. Yeah. The, no. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Right. So it kind of, I guess, goes back to the corporatization of the game, right? As yeah, but Wizards of the Coast always felt like a benevolent corporation. Okay, so yeah, that I think that is a much better way of. So you, I didn't know you were into Magic that early. How did you find Magic the Gathering? Okay, and you were playing it like parallel to D&D back in the day. That's pretty much what I was about to say. I need to play a game with Meredith in the next little while. We played on stream a while ago, and you were basically fucking yeah, almost like giggling. You were so happy to be playing. I could tell. No, I get it, and you have some lovely fucking cards, so I can imagine why you miss it. Um. Oh, really? When was that? Okay. So how has magic inspired the world of Gileo? Hmm. Yes. Yes. Yeah. And the multiple planes that would exist within there. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. Fair, fair. And so magic clearly influenced you in a way, and I'm trying to figure out how, and kind of struggling to. Um, how is it kind of like D&D kind of shaped Galil and kind of shaped the mechanics? What role has magic played, if any? Actually. Mm-hmm. Would it be plausible to say that while both of them have had a kind of significant influence on your life and your approach to gaming, that how can I put this? That magic is more of a fun outlet, despite being a beautiful and complex game, whilst AD&D or D&D is more of a tangible type of I guess I would say structure that's kind of like disciplined your thought or structured your thought and your the way you're approaching game design now. Yeah. Okay, fair. So let's get back to this in a bit, because I do want to talk about some other things, and I kind of want to finish with like literally like a narrative overview of Galil, if that's okay with you. Is that cool? All right. So moving from there, one of the key turning points in your life, as I know you, is joining the Marine. And this happened, if I believe, when you were 17. Okay, that's kind of crazy to me, but let's stick with it for a second. You were 17 around the time 9/11, right? So was 9/11 one of the key things that led you to sign up, or were you going to sign up regardless? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What made you originally want to join the Marine Corps? Okay, let me rephrase that. What made you want to join the military? I noticed how you use the past tense there. Was that purposeful or? Yeah, but do you think it was already going to shit at the time? No, I don't think I did either. I mean, when the U.S. went into Afghanistan and Canada joined, until the U.S. knocked out a bunch of Canadian soldiers and barely fucking apologized, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool, but it really wasn't. But in terms of soldiering, I guess, like, what made you want to be a soldier? Was it partially needing money to go to college, GI Bill kind of stuff, or was it scholarships in sports, right, or academic? Okay, so you turned down actual academic scholarships to go into the Marine Corps, and I mean, to some people that might sound kind of fucking crazy. Do you think that the process, so when you say become an officer, let me is it one or both of these things? One, you learn about military culture while you're either in the academy or ROTC, or two, you grow older and develop better critical thinking skills. Oh, yeah, and you're not. That's not the case if you are a grunt, an NCO, a private, whatever, unless you basically make it to like staff sergeant or sergeant major, right? Would you say, and I mean, I hate to put it this way, but to a certain extent, are you a just a body? So when you were in the Marine Corps, and I kind of want to talk a bit about like boot camp and all that stuff. Did you feel genuinely like disposable, that your life didn't matter? Okay, so let's go over that. Like, not like belabor it. And if any question makes you feel uncomfortable, please let me know. So it starts with recruitment. Did you get any pressure from your recruiter, or did you basically just go balls to the wall? I want to be a Marine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A toxic cut, basically, right? God damn. And you have no recourse against the military. Can we find her on, like, can we find some of the news stories on Google, or is there none of that? Just because it was so fucking toxic, right? No, that's a great way of looking at it, I think. Um, okay, so that's basically how you got in. How was boot camp? What do you mean by they did not break me and remake? Yes. Oh, and none of. Mhm. Unless perhaps an academy, right? Well, which is a whole different process. Yeah. Yeah. I can totally hear that. Now, let me ask you this. If retrospectively you could just have a time machine and go back and join as an officer, would you, or would you just say fuck the military? At the same time you originally decided to join. We're talking about 10. Well, you joined in what year? 2001. We're talking about in 2002. If you knew what you knew now, would you not join, or would you join as, or go to college and join as an officer? You had some bad experience. Okay. Why is that? Oh, because of you. Yeah, and also you've had some very negative experiences, I know, with some government institutions that should be giving you, providing you with benefits that you earn that you just haven't got. Of foreign policy and of world events, basically, right? And and in that respect, I guess, how is life in the military itself before, during, and after Iraq? Like in terms of your day to day life, in terms of camaraderie, stuff like that. Okay, which I can imagine it's like a brotherhood of sorts, right? Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, in something. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Fair. And it's developed also for those, I guess, who you've. Let me ask you this, because you said you were never broken, and I believe it. Um, do you think there's a different version of the brotherhood for those who were broken and those who were not? And what's that difference, and how does it manifest itself in kind of like day-to-day military life? Wait, excuse me, it's possible to be happy in the military? Because you need the structure, right? Okay. Do you think it has for some people? Do you think it's because it's their only way out of poverty? Yeah. Because he has, so pretty much. Yeah. That's kind of weird, but I kind of get it. It's just a totally different worldview. It's like buying underwear, wearing it once, and throwing it in the trash. Uh, yeah. Uh, and only because you had to, right? Yeah. I don't know how well that would have gone over. I presume that you don't really want to talk about Iraq, so we can skip over that. Uh, okay. Well, if you're comfortable, then let's talk about it briefly, I guess. When did you find out you were going to Iraq? Like, how much notice did you have? No, no, we know. Yeah, but like, did you know you were going to Iraq, or did you know you were going to either Iraq or Afghanistan? Okay. Yeah, because Afghanistan was a lot of hunter killer type stuff, special forces. Um, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, they still need drive. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So kind of like a task force of sorts. Yeah. What's the truck stop? I've never heard you talk about it before. Who are often previously have previous service experience, right? But not exclusively. No. Okay. Fair enough. And you're a PFC. Okay, you Lance Corporal. Yeah. Okay. But let me ask you this: as a what 19, 20-year-old PF Lance Corporal, um, do they listen to you? And you're the only one with a gun out of them, right? Okay, that's good. Yeah, they basically did what they were supposed to, and they're being paid a lot more than you are, right? Yeah, that seems pretty Gucci. So, how did it feel to kind of have to deal? Because I mean, to a certain extent, it feels like they had is the right word like undue privilege compared to people who are actually fighting. No. Yeah. Okay. And how did you get put onto like that specific job? Because it's and, and there was no sergeant there to bust your ass. Oh, okay, okay. And was that like a harmonious time in Iraq for you, or was it? So what happened? Mhm. Oh, so now you said alcohol. I fear this is when is this potentially where things start taking a wrong turn? Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Oh, and why do you think these people tried to set you up? Yeah, and you might have gotten away with it more than you would have gotten away with stealing. Well, not stealing, purportedly stealing $20, right? Tens of thousands now. It, what happened? What happened after that? Did you stay? You stayed in Iraq for? No. It was safer. Yeah. Okay. W was this like kind of one of those Admiral's Mask situations? So there's basically it was like a kangaroo court, and you had no way of appealing the decision, did you? Mm. Yeah, I know. And worse shit can happen at the court martial, right? Hmm. Oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. The lead. How was it possible to live? Because I know that a private doesn't make that much money. What do you mean you had 5 jobs? Were you allowed to have these jobs outside the military, or and your other duties seem to have been kind of insane at the time? So what was the like kind of linear story that got you out of the Corps? Yeah, we don't need to get into that. Of course. And they didn't offer you any. Oh boy. Jesus fuck Christ. These are all things that in the grand scheme of things feel kind of inconsequential. It feels like, and I know this is the military, it's a total institution. It feels like the punishment does not fit the quote unquote crime. Not even fucking close. Like, yeah. And you were, Yeah, and you didn't even get that $1,200 back. The fuck? But yeah, but let's try to end this part of the interview on a high note. I'm curious, what was your best experience in the military? Like, not some vague thing about like friendship and camaraderie. I'm actually curious. Like, was there something that stood out as like a really positive experience? Fair, which is amazing. At that time. Yep. 100%. Are you still friends with a large number of the actual other Marines you were deployed with? Are you friends with any of them? Okay. And that is what I want to talk about next. You're a nomad, aren't you? So, can you give us like a brief overview of like your kind of early childhood movements? I kind of know how it starts, but like, yep, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so basically, you kind of wake up in Michigan, right? Okay. Why'd you get turned back to the border? Oh wow. That's kind of crazy, and it sounds like something that could be traumatic for a child. No, excuse me. I totally get that. Okay, so Michigan. Uh, then you were in Michigan until you joined the Corps, and what happened after the Corps? Where'd you go? Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were already a Florida man at that age. Okay, so so why the fuck did you guys move to Florida? Oh, mm-hmm. No, it definitely wasn't. Now, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay, so when you joined the Corps, not only were you like a kid, but basically you had also just been dislodged from somewhere you had lived for forever, almost for like in your memory, right? And was Colorado where you went right after the military? Okay, and you lived with your dad. Oh, oh, I know. But was this a good crazy situation or a bad crazy situation? And that you had been in combat with, right? Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. So, okay, so Florida, living with this guy, what happens next? Really? Why is that? I'm not a screwdriver drinker because my father drank screwdrivers and he was a fucking prick. But aren't there just so many better cocktails out there? Yeah, there's also old fashioned. Like, I mean, I like Scotch on the rocks is one thing, but like, if you're going for a cocktail, I like to like stick to basics and taste my liquor. Um, yeah, sometimes you want a little variation, especially with bourbon, right? Because it's not necessarily as um, what's the word I'm looking for? Not as it doesn't have as much character as Scotch. Always, I'd say. Okay. Mhm. But if you're ordering it, you're fucking overpaying for it, is the problem. Unless you're drinking O'Doul's, and please tell me you're not drinking O'Doul's. Good, because it's horrific. My father-in-law taught me that, because before that I did not even know it existed. So the next place you went to after Florida was Colorado, right? God damn. Okay, my timeline's all messed up. What the fuck? I know you were in Missouri, but what the fuck were you doing there? I have to ask. It's pretty random. Wait, the drive-by? But before that, let's go back to the drive-by. I don't know if I've ever heard the story. What's the drive-by? Okay. Was it smooth? That's not ideal. Did anyone die? Did you basically get the fuck out of there right after that? Wow. That's insane. Okay. So in Missouri, Missouri's the last stop for Colorado, right? Oh my god. Okay. So what do you do in Missouri? Okay, fair enough. Okay. So what did you do in Missouri? Tell us about that. How did, how did you meet this one-legged man? Of course it did. Wait. Are you telling me? And this was the one-legged man, or the one-legged man referred you to it? Oh, you are the. Is it in Missouri that you had the first baby mama? Oh, right. Yes. Good point. Okay. So there's the baby mama, then there's the wife, right? Okay. So do you want to talk about the baby mama or not? Just give us the executive overview. Don't need to get into anything. We're just trying to. That's supposedly what happened to my father as well. Yeah. predictable. My mother did the same thing to my father, but my father is a piece of shit, and I know you not to be. So, but yeah, and that's still something that you're unfortunately having to deal with to this day, right? With Harley, to an extent. No, of course he did, and they preserved her anonymity, right? And there's not much you could do, is was there at the time? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really? Mm. Which is generally what you do. But he just did not give a fuck. Presumably legal aid, I guess. Direct. Yeah. Yeah, they have. I mean, they've gotten better anyway, and hopefully they can just continue getting better. Because now you can contact her pretty much whenever once a week at least, right? Yeah, which is a hell of a lot better than the status quo ante. Um, yeah, and making up for lost years, right? Because she's a teenage girl now, right? Yeah, I mean that's probably a little hard. To you know Yeah, I can kind of imagine. Nice. Is the baby mama artistic, or do you think that came from you? Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, I mean, it's great that the kid turned out that way, in spite of your baby mama being, you know, a little bit. Hmm. Sure. I think in every case, it's both people, and sometimes people are in denial about it, but that makes sense. So after this shit show, you go back to Florida again. What happened during this Florida visit? Okay. So what happened? Okay. Yeah, that got you to Missouri. I don't remember why. Oh yeah, it's probably still out there now. It's probably still out there. Oh, bummer. Hmm. No, I thought you were saying that I would like to have gone. That would be a pretty probative. That would have some pretty significant probative value. Yeah. No. Oh my god, I remember that. That. Yeah. Yeah. That really sucks. Hmm. It did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you write your own bot? How are you making money from the game? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, you were selling the account. For how much? Each or in total? Still. Natural hustler we've got here. What's the name of that? Not that this is relevant, but I'm just curious. Do you know the pimp who wrote a book about like pimping, and how to be a pimp? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's a really good book. Regardless of anyway. All right. So how do we get to Colorado? Because I need to get to Colorado to talk about fasting. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And you have no trouble with altitude at all, right? Okay. Wait, selling cruises is a good job. Okay, I'd like to explore that, but were you selling it to mostly older people or just the general public? Oh, okay, that's the best kind of call center. You don't want to do outbound. Okay. Were you a good salesman? Really? I've never seen that side of you. It'll be good when Galil's done. But okay, so you went to Colorado and you met Satan, right? In the mountains? How is it like to be a stepfather? Fair. Okay. I thought it was a trailer. That's later, right? Okay. Do you care about the weed? Or yeah, yeah. Okay. But even then, he probably would not have given a shit because it's Colorado. Unless you were smoking weed while you were doing a mass shooting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. So living alone. So when you started going to church, were you at all a believer, or did you go to church because it's an obvious place to find community and to find warmth? Hmm. Right. Okay. And so you meet at church, and this is a fundamentalist church, right? No, I have no idea what that means. I thought the Pentecostals were really strict. So they're not as easygoing as the Methodists, but they're pretty easygoing kind of thing. Okay. So let's talk about the devil first and then talk about fast, which is why we decided to do this interview in the first place. Well, I made the executive decision I'd take over your channel today. Um so you meet the devil at church. How long before you get married? Was the marriage for religious reasons, or how so? Oh geez. Yeah. That makes sense in a Christian way. So in the context of church, you found community and you found someone that you loved enough to marry. Um, Before we talk about how that went to shit, this is the one thing that I found the most interesting. Before we started having this conversation, well, I've found very interesting things since. You were doing fasts at this church, right? And were these the first times you fasted? Can you tell me about how the fuck this comes about? Can you tell me how the fuck that comes about? Like, what does walking the Bible mean? Living as Jesus. Mhm. No, I know that about you. So, so who suggested that you fast? How how the? I mean, I just can't conceive of this. Um, how did the idea come to your mind? Cover to cover, no, but most of it, yes. I went to Catholic school. Okay, so you were fasting for 40 days. This was your first. Was the 40-day fast your first ever fast? Okay. What kind of fasts had you done before that? Well, Jesus ostensibly did the big one right away, right? No, he did smaller fasts first. Oh, how long were those? Do you know by any chance? Okay, because he is this because he thought he'd be hallucinating and stuff like that? As with many things in the Bible, to be fair. Not, and I'm not saying this as an anti-religious person. It's just okay. Fair, fair. Okay. So now you're fasting for 40 days, which is longer than the 30 days you're trying to do now. Well, not you're trying to do. I'm pretty damn sure of it. Unless you have a medical emergency, you're gonna do it. Um, during this first fast, what did you discover about yourself and about life? I think a lot of psychoanalytical psychoanalysts would say that these are perhaps rich archetypal rituals of masculinity. What would you say to that? But at the same time, when you're fasting, you are. I'm sorry, this is going to sound. I'm saying this because it sounds funny, not because I'm trying to disparage anything. But you were cosplaying Jesus at the time. So you look more like Jesus today than you did then. I, was that because of like church regs or okay, okay, I got you. So you're doing this 40-day fast, and I just want to know, like, this is your first fast, like, so this was unprecedented territory for you. What were some of like the physiological and psychological things that you experienced during this time? Let's start with physiological. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can imagine. Baji is delicious. Okay. And some broth. How much weight? You've never been a big guy in terms of weight and stature. Um, yeah. So that was muscle that you'd built up. Because that's probably in that. So wait a second. You weigh like 180 right now, right? Okay. So would you say, and this is not a piss take, it's a genuine question. Would you say that getting up to 200 pounds for you would be um harder than fasting for 30 days? God damn. And how is that? Couldn't you just eat really shitty food for a month? Yeah, but you're always eating fucking celery. You're always eating fucking celery. Okay. And you do get McDonald's. And Miss OTM gets it as well. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, as we chatted about. Mhm. Yeah, and you genuinely always haven't always been able to afford it. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but you'd have to be growing, excuse me, your own stuff, right? Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Yeah. Yeah, no. Okay, I see I see where you're going here, and that makes complete sense. Um okay, but back to this fast. When you were doing it, did you ever have any like strange psychedelic effects? Your cognition was just as you'd expect it to be, as normal as Rick's cognition is. So what were the major disruptions that, or if any, that it brought about? No, 100%. But at the same time, food is a basic part of life. We need food to live. We need glucose to power our cells, etc. Like I get the science behind intermittent fasting, but I guess it's time to get to the current fast. Because I found it really interesting when you were talking about why you wanted to do it. It feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, that the previous fast you had done church wise, in a sense, they were symbolic. Is that true? Okay. Mm-hmm. So I would say that I need to do the same. Um, and I've identified various things, but this is not about me. Um, and don't get into anything you don't want to. But do you want to talk about some of the things you're trying to change, or? Yeah, you're not doing any hard substances, but you're not doing any hard drugs for no. How much do you still smoke cigarette wise? Yeah. And you make blunts out of them? Are you making blunts out of them sometimes? Okay, okay. You'd get a blunt wrapper or whatever. Okay. So this fast is, does it have a spiritual dimension, or is it kind of purely a physiological slash symbolic? Okay. And your goals are basically to stop smoking weed, stop smoking tobacco. And you'd said something that kind of resonated with me. And the thing about bad decisions, and I don't, you phrased it quite well, and I don't want to steal your phrasing. Um, can you remind me what it was? Yes, your addiction is bad decisions. Do you want to unpack that a bit and talk about how far back that goes and maybe where it came from? That can be tough. And Galil or not? No, I know that. Uh, just by the way, how long do you have to go for your call in? Okay. So yeah, I just want to talk a bit more about the fast, then talk about. Then I want to do a deep, like an hour dive into Galil. Do you think you have about an hour and a quarter left, or? Okay, perfect. So like, I literally. Sorry. Yes, yes. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, audience, just a little break here. We've been having a wonderful conversation with Rick here on his own channel during this takeover of mine, this very hostile takeover, one might say. I should have re-streamed this on my own channel, but didn't. Damn. But yeah, so it goes. For those of you who are in the Board Wax Pepe Club, there is a drop. I'm trying to figure out when it is. Uh, the announcement should tell me. Welcome back, sir. Oh, I can imagine. I mean, without getting into the lurid details, how many times a day do you think you're pissing? you mean you don't like just chart all of your fucking piss sessions? Okay. Oh, I know, with spreadsheets. So you're not tracking volume, frequency, timing, etc. All right. Back to the fast. So you're drinking water. You're having bone broth occasionally, which is making me crave bone broth, mind you. And I'm cooking a bunch of chicken drumsticks tonight. I think I'll make some nice broth with the. I'm gonna strip the drumsticks and make pulled like shredded chicken from it. So probably make some broth from the drumsticks. Um, how long do you cook your bones for? Simmer them. Because are you gonna add any vegetables or? But if you do, don't add the vegetables from the beginning. Is all I'm gonna say. Um, because they'll like get sour. You want to like add your vegetables for like aroma in like the last hour maybe of like say a 6-hour simmer or whatever. I mean, I like to do long simmers on broth and then just refill the water as I go. But no, man, I have a fucking sunflower seed in my beard. God damn it. When I'm not eating sunflower seeds or when I'm combing my beard with a fork. So this fast has 27 more days to go. You're having bone broth, you're having water. You mentioned Miss OTM and electrolyte powder. Are you having any of that? What does that mean? Don't you? How during your previous fast? What did you consume? When you say juice, what kind of juice are you talking about? But not like that super sweet juice that comes out of like a cheap ass bottle from Safeway, right? Like pressed. Okay, yeah. So like you would literally squeeze a fucking orange and drink that, or squeeze a lemon and put it in some water. No. Oh, in that sense. Okay. Yeah. No. We're on the same. Yeah, we're definitely on the same page. Okay. And what else are you planning on doing juice this time, or are you just completely eliminating it? Yeah. Wow, that's really kind of committed. Are you taking a vitamin? Okay. No, I can totally understand that. Um, so when you're on antibiotics, you're not a very compliant patient, basically. You were responsible. That's fair. Okay. So as this fast goes on, are you going to keep us updated via your peak blog or anything like that? I know. It's just because I find it so fascinating that you're doing this because see Miss OTM is doing she's trying to go for 5-6 days. Okay, no, and that's completely fair because people have to know their limitations. Now, then the question for you, being addicted to bad decisions, do you know your limitation? Do you reject the notion that you have limitations? Okay. Do you think that this fast is in any way pushing the limits at least a bit? It, but the thing is, you're in your late 30s like me now. Last time you did this, you were in your late 20s or early 30s? Mid 20s. That's 15 years basically of difference. You don't you don't think there's going to be any difference on your body? And how are you going to deal with that as it comes about? I mean, see, the thing is, I don't know, because you seem to me like a planner, like I am. Contingency this, contingency that. If X happens, do Y. Because of the degree of thought that goes into something like Galil or even Splinterlands or whatever. But uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no. Plans always need to be adjusted. But very true. But at the same time, they do kind of provide a baseline for where you're going to go when the plan goes awry. I feel. Or at least they might tell you what not to do, worst case scenario. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That makes complete sense. So, okay. It's basically kind of like handling things pragmatically as they come. Now, to kind of come full circle, is that something you learned as a Marine, or is that something you have developed? Okay. Oh, what the fuck is this 5-star general in the Boy Scouts? Oh, that so you don't half-ass anything, do you? And this is my last question for you, I think, before we start talking Galil. You say the core didn't break you, right? Whether it's through your addiction to bad decisions or whether it's through stuff like fasting, have you ever thought that potentially you're trying to figure out how to break yourself? I mean, like, just at like the most basic psychoanalytical level, it really seems like you're trying to challenge yourself, but that you're going fucking hardcore. And there's a reason for that. I mean, part of it's socialization, part of it's community, part of it's belonging. But this is not about community. This is about you and potentially Mrs. on the Mountain and just being a better human, right? So it feels, well. Don't the two go together intrinsically? How so? Okay, in that sense, yeah. And a fucking silver platter, literally. Okay, that is very true. Now that you actually bring it up like that, I cannot disagree at all. So what is the ultimate goal then? Is just to live a better life. I mean, not that that's, I'm not trying to diminish it, but that really is it. Like there's nothing more to it, and there doesn't need to be. Is kind of what I'm getting. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people are. I mean, not to diminish it, like, but I mean, no, it. Cannabis. Like, I get that, but I guess I kind of want to talk to you about like this broader condition, maybe briefly before we get into Galil and AI. Um, yesterday we were talking about how we were all fucked. You found that case of MREs by the road, brought it home. Um, it's all pretty reasonable and rational. Um, do you think that your current financial challenges have anything to do? Well, they I know they do to a certain extent, as do my own. But yeah, where do you see AI kind of fucking with finance? Does it affect you in your job as a cook or miss? Do you think it's gonna come? What about AI? Sorry, what about AI in service? Mhm. Okay. Yeah. As I. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. That's kind of the challenge, isn't it? Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, I've done that too when I was a kid. Just yeah, exactly, exactly. No, no, no. But it's an interesting analogy. Um, Now when we talk about all this, um, it's like, do we fight the future or do we adapt to the future? Do explain. Yes. No, we don't agree on everything. Yes. 100%. If you could name the three things, tangible things you want from life the most right now, what would they be? I'm not talking about like inner peace or global peace or whatever. I'm talking about tangible ass things. And I know what one of the answers is going to be because we're going to say the same thing. Financial stability. I was going to say financial stability. You said financial security. They're pretty much the same thing. See, I disagree. I disagree with you, motherfucker. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. Already, see? We just, yeah, we're at it. I agree. I agree. And I'm not, oh, that's not what I'm saying either. What I'm saying is I can't say financial security one, two, three because I'm realizing like I'm not where you are. Thankfully, I mean I own a house, stuff like that. But like AI has taken a hit on me. It's not ideal. Um, like far fucking from it. Let's be real. Like how much it's cut. It's insane. Um, but it's fine for now. If it doesn't change in September or October, I'm going to need to do something different. So right now, if I was answering that question, I'd say financial security, passive income, and diversification. Because I think having all one's eggs in one basket is the biggest fucking threat to financial security you have. At the same time, But they're all different elements, aren't they? I'm a baker and a cooker, okay? Like a cooker. I'm a baker and a cook. Like, I bake with great precision. I weigh my shit out, and if it's like more than 3 grams over, I like fucking deal with it. But I also cook. Yesterday, I marinated some chicken drumsticks that I'm hopefully going to cook tonight or tomorrow, and I just did the marinade like off the top of my head. My point being is that yeah, they're all different elements of financial ability, sure, but at the very same time, I think they're all parts of the recipe that I'm trying to create right now, whether it's a freestyle recipe or not. What would you say to that? Okay, so let me ask you this then: what's your pathway or your desired pathway? Mm, I mean, things take a while to build. Yes. No, I get that 100%. What are the um? So how am I going to phrase Galil? Let's go to Galil because I think it's about time. We've been going for a while, and I wanted this is when I wanted to do the deep dive on Galil because you have world building Wednesdays. You have you used to have technical until your lead dev just disappeared. Sorry, it's just kind of hilarious because that's like crypto in a in a fucking heartbeat. Um, okay, so some people had you had you paid him anything? Okay, at least because he never delivered a single fucking thing, right? Yeah, I was there when he's talking about. Really? About and did he mint those from his own collection? That's kind of a problem. Yeah, but you can't get whitelisted until you have a white paper, like a coherent one with like tech and shit for a game. But I digress. So, what is Dragon Memories? Okay, so this project in its end state is fucking huge. No, no, that am I correct in saying that Dragon Memories is the origin story for the world of Galil? Okay. So we know that Galil's been coming together for a very, very, very long time. In your mind and in D&D and all that jazz, which is fucking awesome. Now, first of all, I'm pretty sure I knew you when you decided to start Dragon Memory, or at least when you put the concerted like effort into actually getting it done. Am I correct? Yeah. And then Ben, well, Ben's always been there, I suppose, right? Gotcha. So what's Ben's title? There you go. Okay. So, now why don't we tell people, because we've already talked a bit about, actually, why don't we talk a bit about Galil and then a bit about how Dragon Memories is going to tell the player about Galil. So why don't you talk about the world of Galil itself, like including the cube planet, which we've spent probably an hour or more discussing. Can you give just talk about Galil? Don't I know as well? Pretty sure I do. Okay. Well, I don't want to say it because I think you might have told me. The breaking of the world into the cube? Wasn't this the when the dragons started fighting with each other? And one of the dragons did a thing that did a thing? Oh, okay. You mean the actual full story? Okay, okay. Oh, okay. Because you've talked to me about before the breaking, but yeah, no, I don't know this information. Okay, okay, okay. The infighting, so to speak. Right, they're bickering or whatever we want to call it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Define vibrant. Okay. Mm-hmm. And for the audience who doesn't necessarily know what a saurian is, would you mind explaining that as you continue? Yeah. Yeah. Because you have kind of the creative freedom to design it in comparison to canon in a way, right? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday I was trying to mid journey an anthropomorphic crow for yeah. Standard, really? Is it really standard? It wasn't standard in 3.5, was it? Oh man. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I ever made it to that point. Fair enough. Um really? Did they ever make the Merfolk playable race? Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Is that DM's discretion or Fair, fair. All right, but back to Dragon Memories and Galil. 10,000 years past the time the player is starting to play, right? Oh, 10,000 years before what? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, fair, fair. Yes. And there's something special about humans in Galil, isn't there? like in our world, right? Oh, so you're trying to build this world originally without sin, without sinning. Sorry. God damn. Oh, that's interesting. That's a good workaround too. Yeah, yeah. Is that from the Dark Sun expansion? I, I don't know. Oh, anyway, yeah, go ahead. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. And it ties back to the plane. Here's a question: would you ever do a collab with Hasbro? Okay. It was not a loaded question. It was just like a humorous one for me. Well, what if you wanted their IP? Oh, they would have to reach out though. Yes, as you should. Mhm. Sure, that makes complete sense. Really? Oh wow, I did not realize that. We have to talk about that off stream. Um, so Galil, um, once we get into Dragon Memories proper, I guess it's possibly the best way to approach this a bit because of the complexity here. We're unraveling the memories of the dragon from the before common era period, right? So common era never even gets touched. Well, no, I guess it does because of flashbacks and stuff, flash forwards and flashbacks, right? We're talking about no. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to get into what these races are for the audience? If you were to play today, what race would you play at as? Yeah, figure it out. Yeah, that's a good point. That, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Now, I mean that's fair because you're literally in pre-alpha. Like we're still in the design phases of the game. There has not been a single line. I mean, I could write a line of code, but I don't even know what language we're coding this game in. So, yeah. So right now, Dragon Memories as a game is, correct me if I'm wrong here, its creation is really intertwined with the formalization of the canon of the world of Galil. So you and Ben are really like world building Wednesdays is kind of the key element of Galil's construction. While that's going on, I mean, I kind of know, but what are you doing on your own? Yeah. People. So in that respect, how can I put this? Basically, like a lot of good games in Web3, you're making a commitment to like comprehensive and consistent lore, right? But at the same time, you are on overdrive because you're building the lore for the entirety of Galil, while in terms of a game, you're building Dragon Memories, which is only an infinitesimal part of the world of Galil, right? How so? Right. That's true. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, how many dungeons do you currently intend for there to be in Galil? Or level? Sorry? But with different permutations based on time, right? I'm not sure I follow. Right. So, okay, let me rephrase that then. How many levels are there? So, you're talking about building a game with 6,000 levels. No, no. Which makes total sense. So, when you go live, right, with your first drop, but no, sorry, let's go back a bit. Your current intention is obviously not to go live with 6,000 levels, right? Why don't you tell the audience about Kamadora and Lycra in a bit? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong here. Yeah. Full heat advisory going on. Who's still populating it? Yeah. It's like you have six flat Earths. It's like you have six flat Earth. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. First time I saw that, I thought you'd fucked up with the glue. Nice. How many people live there? Is Hunter S. Thompson in the game? No, I'm well aware. Oh. Yeah. No, no, I can get that. Yeah. In diameter. Oh, 10,000. 10,000 square kilometers or like 10 by 10? Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, sorry. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's prototype 1. Well, no, you probably made a prototype before at some point, right? Did you no, but I mean, but you made this in your current location. Like this didn't travel with you or anything like that, right? Oh, has it? Okay. I didn't realize that. When did you originally make this one? Was it in Colorado during church time or thereabouts? Oh wow, oh, fair enough. Did yeah? I mean, that would be dope. Fuck. Of course. Yeah, which is bitterly disappointing in many fucking ways. Um, and yeah, that really fucking sucks. Do you think it was all destroyed? Fair point. Oh, great. Okay. God damn. Yeah, it's funny how courts can kind of like um what's the word I'm looking for? But also facilitate, like in this case, like the theft of intellectual property. I mean, although you would have recourse to get it back, but it's probably been destroyed. So it's like, yeah, okay. What are you supposed to fucking do? Like, you can lose your shit, not be able to retrieve it, and you'd have to get an injunction to get it back. It doesn't exactly make the most fucking sense to me. I mean, okay. Damn, dude. How much of that work? Yeah, no, and the value on that, depending on the condition, could be pretty fucking high. Really? Wow. That man, I could tell you, these weren't first editions. These were my 3.5 manuals. But at some point, like I was a kid, right? I was in high school. I was maybe 14. I don't know. I was like, fuck it. I want to try a new game. So I go to the game store, and obviously I'm a kid, so they rip me off. I decide to sell my manual, my AD&D manuals, and he's like, I'll give you this for them. And I'm like, well, what about this? He's like, no, this. And I'm like, what? I had been really like eyeing this thing from the same people who do Warhammer called Necromunda. Are you familiar? So I traded in all my AD&D manuals for the Necromunda manual, which was kind of like instead of being like Warhammer and being needing like $10,000 worth of miniatures, you only needed like one. It was kind of like almost like an RPG. I don't know if I still have the book or not. I don't know if we kept it, but yeah. So I traded that in, and that's like a source of enduring bitterness for me that I did that. Um, like I should have just traded in my fucking Warhammer set because, like, did you ever at all get into Warhammer? I did, and Warhammer, and then Warhammer 40K, and because I like painting the miniatures, it's a thing I did. Um, and I, as a teenager, before I even had my first fucking job, I decided that I was going to do the Imperial Guard because I didn't want to do the Space Marines or any of that shit. Well, the Imperial Guard requires 3 times as many miniatures as any other fucking faction, because they're humans, like just ordinary soldiers. So basically, fucked myself there. But to make a long story short, it just goes to show you like the way that we can lose all these fucking old assets that we had. What I'm curious about right now, though, especially now that I'm doing some Magic the Gathering research for work purposes, and now that I'm moved, is I moved all my hockey cards, and I'm really hoping my original Magic the Gathering deck is in with my hockey. Because if so, I mean that would be pretty cool, because I think they're either alpha or beta cards. You can have it if I do. What if it's in French? Really? Well, I would have been in 3rd grade, so this would have been when was Alpha introduced? This would have been right around and Beta. Do you know by any chance? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't tell. Which one was Black Lotus in? Say that again. Okay, so it could have been either, because we kept talking about, oh my god, maybe we'll get a Black Lotus, and yeah, no. Okay, so evidently the different variants of Black Lotus vary significantly in value, right? Are some of them, are they all worth quite a bit, or are some of them worth virtually nothing? Even if it's like fucking trampled and spat and jizzed on, basically. Which is dependent on the judge, but would, yeah, okay. I got you. I got you. That makes quite a bit of sense. But back to Galileo before we close out here shortly, because we've been going for how long now? Okay. So what are the next steps with regards to Dragon Memories and to the world of Galileo? Yeah. Yeah, that's not insignificant, is it? Yeah. And why don't you talk about who's on the team a little bit? Yeah. Who's the support team right now? I don't even know. Oh, I I didn't know I had a support role. Oh wait, do you mean like user support or supporting you guys? Oh, I thought you were like I thought you were talking user support, and I'm like, maybe we need to talk because I don't know if I'm the best suited for that. Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. But I mean, at the same time, we are gonna hit the initial point where we're gonna be in pre-alpha and we are gonna be doing everything ourselves. No, no, I can guarantee you um that I will code at least one level of Dragon Memories at some point. I will figure out what language you're using and or your dev is using, and figure out how to code one level, even if it, and then he can QA it. How about that? Because that sounds like it would be fun, but like it's kind of hard for us to prognosticate given that there's no dev right now. Um, how long do you, two questions, I guess. How long do you think that it would theoretically take you to complete the lore to the level that would satisfy you in relation to well do you let me rephrase that, do you have all the lore for Dragon Memories itself already? How far, close, whatever are you? Codified. Yeah. Okay. Right. No, which makes a lot of sense. I think it'd be nearly impossible to have all that done. So from that juncture, like as you're working on the Galil lore for Dragon Memories, you're also working on the Galil lore for the subsequent games that'll come after. Or fuck, if ever Ben and you or and I or whomever decided we wanted to make a Galil card game or a Galil tabletop paper game, whatever, right? These are all things that could be done. Yeah. What? And how much of that is in your head? God damn. But do you think when you redo the specifics now they'll be better than they were before? Mm, yeah, agreed. But from a purely gaming perspective, and whether it be Web 2 or Web 3, how many games do you think it would take to tell the Galil story? Or could you just do it through Dragon Memories and then an MMORPG? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and pay to win too, right? Isn't there a significant pay to win dimension to it as well? Okay. Right. No, no. Yeah, I'm talking about the stuff that's against TOS. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Fair. Okay. Yeah. Would Splinterlands be dead if it wasn't for bots? If Splinterlands is not already dead? Nope. Absolutely. And even then, like, given the decline, the steep decline in I guess the quality and community engagement associated with the game, we're kind of really seeing like it takes a long time to get a match is what I'm saying even now with all the bots, which is kind of shitty. Do you see do, now that you're being interviewed and it's your personal channel, so feel free not to answer if you can't. Um, do you see there being a way out for Splinterlands, or is Splinterlands fucked? And what would be the proverbial falls or Rubicon that they would need to cross to be absolutely fucked? And what version of land are you talking about here? The initial release, or Right. There's no game there. But at the same time, like, yeah, because Matt made it sound like full release is like a constant evolution, work in progress type of thing. How long do you think Splinterlands has? And do you think? Yeah, it's like the Bull Run potentially, right? Yeah. And I don't work for Splinterlands TV, so I'm gonna. Can I say something critical on your channel of a team member? Not personal, just about their opinion on something. Um, so Aggie at the town halls and town circles keeps going on about how Ripple was basically like the test case for crypto being regulated and how he's more bullish than he's ever been. Well, if he thinks that's the case, he's fucking naive as hell. Because the Ripple case, it is absolutely nothing. Because if you look at the cases that are currently pending before the SEC versus the manner by which the regulations for regulation, the tripartite test is laid out, the one that didn't apply to Ripple was it providing value on the basis of the asset / security. Well, yeah, no, Ripple wasn't doing it directly, right? So that's all fine and fucking dandy. But you know, I keep thinking, and like, this might sound like I'm a horrible human being, but like, Splinterlands would make an amazing case for a lawsuit about whether it's a security or not, especially given the shit that Aggie says on during town halls nowadays. So, I mean, because they have a token, they are attempting to present it as something that can have value derived from it within the ecosystem, and they're providing liquidity for this token. So it's like, dude, you just need to stop talking. Because yeah, I feel that regulation could come like very, very easily. Yeah. 100%. I worry to a certain degree whether whether some projects will be able to adapt, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, yes. That's very true. I mean, from a strategic point of view, yeah, it almost fucking makes more sense to wait till regs come, I guess. I never, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because from a certain point of view, you would like to launch in the bear so that you can get the hype of the bull. And we don't know exactly when regulation is coming, but yeah, no, I completely see your point. Yeah, man, it's the Wild West, isn't it? Oh yeah. I mean, having seen what some projects have done recently, I would love regulation now. Like, there's so much disgusting shit going on that. Yeah. 100%. I know for a fact that if I wanted to, I could pull off a rug pull within a week. Like, you just create one of these fucking mining games, right? Where everything is theoretically legit. You create a shit coin, people stake, buy your packs, they stake their fucking shit to Wax DAO, or whatever. And hey, you've got a project, you bring in a few thousand wax, then yeah, it's really that simple. But I mean, I have no plans to do that. It's just seeing how easy it is and seeing how people keep fucking falling for it in the crypto space is really disquieting, to say the least. But as we get ready to wrap this up, I'm kind of like, I still remain like, I feel like with regards to Galil, and this is not an insult, this is a compliment in a way. I feel like there's a high barrier to entry with regards to the lore being complex, and we talked about kind of how and I didn't quite get or succeed in doing what I wanted to do today, so we'll have to do this again at some point. But I want to create like a structure whereby you could like give a 5-minute pitch, so to speak, to a new player to explain the basic lore of Galil, and then like a 1-minute pitch to explain how Dragon Memories is the introduction to that. Is that something you think you could do off the top of your head? Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when you say returning the planet to a natural state, that partially involves terraforming. How would that not be terraforming? Oh, yeah. The impediment. No, no, we know. Yeah, but people might not know that out there in the audience how gravity works. Sorry, audience. Um, but as it currently stands, given the disharmony that prevails between the dragons, are they all in agreement in terms of maintaining the current physical state of the planet, or is that something you can't answer right now? Wait, did I miss something? How so? So they have no way of communicating at all? I did not process that during the So if the structure of the planet is ever changed, right? Um what does that imply for the dragon? Do do they resuscitate or do they just fucking die? Are you saying that in as much as you don't know yet, or in as much as that's kind of like the entire fucking point of the game? Oh, I like that. Shit, that's way down the line then. Would it be possible that there you can maintain canon and have multiple endings? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got you. Okay. That yeah. So over the course of this 10 million year future, you'll be playing at different points in time. Uh, in terms of character lifespan, will you be going through multiple characters within Dragon, not within Dragon Memories, but within the MMORPG? No, I know it's yeah, no. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, you might. You do realize though, and I think you need to close up here because your call soon. You do realize that though, if this is on the blockchain, that even if we have the apocalypse or whatever, as long as one node is up, someone can continue playing your game till the end of the universe. Even after the AI apocalypse. Wait, let me process that. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, probably. Unfortunately. Yeah. The unfortunate part is like I'm pretty fucking sure you're right. Just depressing as shit, but I mean, hey, we want everything to be realistic, not necessarily beautiful, right? Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this, which might sound like a crazy question, but is there a juncture at which the game is going to move from, I hesitate to use the word, but I will anyway, high fantasy towards like being a cyberpunk game? Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. But you are saying canon, so doesn't that mean high fantasy to an extent? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was reading about the new Planeswalker stuff for Magic last night, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay, this is super interesting." And now that you've said all this about Galil, some of these things I knew, some of them I didn't. I don't know if it's because I've missed streams or like, do we have a central repo where all this is available? Why don't we have a Git book, a private Git book? But it would, yeah, but I think it would make much more. I know this is a more off-stream thing, but I think we need. Can you remind? Like, are you streaming tonight or not? You are okay, even though it is Thursday, right? Yeah. I can't. I'll probably join you after the Novo Pangea. Oh wait, you're way after Novo Pangea. Um, but yeah, I'll come hang. But there are two things. One, I think we need to build a Git book to actually store all this lore and term. Do you know how a Git? Yeah, but do you know how a Git book works? Kind of. It's basically like, how can I put this? We have sections and we have pages in each section, and the pages reflect, like, say we have a section for all the races, then we have a page for all the races describing everything we have for that race on one page. I mean, it's like a technical manual almost. And well, it's a way to put the spreadsheets together in a way that's more, I think, what's the word I'm looking for? More cohesive, you know, especially for me in particular. Like, I think I'd find it easier to keep track of things because it's like sometimes I'm like not disappointed is not the word at all, but like kind of like how would I put it? Like I'm just like, wait, how the fuck do I not know this kind of thing? You know? So it's like I feel like I should know this because I'm around pretty much all the time, but somehow I magically don't know this, and yeah, that's always a bit weird. But I mean, yeah, no, I think we need to do that. And the last thing I want to touch on before I let you go, because I know your call's in what, an hour and 20 minutes or something. Oh fuck. Okay. Then quickly, when are we starting? And I seriously want to do this. Either a D&D or a Pathfinder version of the Origins of Galil on stream. We had talked about it last night, and you seemed somewhat open to it. Is it something you think you could do, or did you really lose too much of the source material? Whatever you were talking about last night. No. As a D&D or Pathfinder campaign with you DMing. Then what were we? Then what were we talking about last night with you running a Galil campaign? We yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. Okay, is that something that we could theoretically start doing on stream, or is that something that you're just like, I don't know? Yeah. I think it would be a cool exercise though if we did run like a weekly or bi-monthly D&D, well, probably Pathfinder game with you DMing. Just saying. I think Hollow would play. Ben would probably play, right? Yeah, no, we can figure it out. We can talk about more off. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, and what kind of no? Yeah, but it's there. So basically, this is like one of those fuck around and find out situations, right? I wonder if Hasbro would approve. No, I know, I know. Well, I know you have to go to your call. I think this is a very, very insightful interview about your biography, your history, what's brought you to fasting, and with regards to Galil and Dragon memories. I think we've covered a lot of ground, and I'm happy we were able to do this for sure. How, as a final question, before we do whatever you want to do as you take your channel back, how does it feel to be on the other side of the interview? Oh yeah, yeah, it was enjoyable indeed. Yeah, no, yep. And I did take a nap before my Nova Pangea stream. So, take it away, sir.